Okay, picture this. You sit down to set up your 401k for the year, just like always. Same move you've made 100 times. You go to lower your tax bill, and the option's just gone. Not a glitch, not your imagination. Starting this year, a lot of high earners lost the upfront tax break on part of their 401k, and most of them have no idea it even happened. Here's the thing, the IRS didn't send the letter, there was no big announcement. This change was buried in a law from years ago, and it quietly switched on the 1st of January. And it comes down to one number. If you earned more than $150,000 last year, this almost certainly hits you. We're going to break down exactly who's on the hook. But honestly, that's not even the scary part. There's a version of this rule that doesn't just change your catch up, it wipes it out completely. Some people can't put that money in at all. That's Chapter 6. So before you touch your retirement account this year, you need the full picture. What changed, who it hits, and how to flip it in your favor. Let's get into it. Real quick, if we haven't met, I'm Sam, and this is the American Finance. My whole thing is taking money rules that sound like a foreign language and making them actually make sense, so you keep more of what you earn. And this rule, it's one of the sneakier ones. But by the end of this video, you're going to understand it better than most financial advisors do. I'm not even exaggerating. So here's the plan. First, I'll show you the exact income number that flips this switch on you. Then, the scariest part, how some people are about to lose their catch-up contributions entirely. After that, we'll break down the two catch-up limits, including a huge one for a very specific age group that most people walk right past. And then, the good news, how this whole thing can actually make you richer. And before you leave, I'll give you the one move to make with your HR department this week. Takes about 2 minutes, and honestly, it could save your whole retirement plan. Stick around for that. Now, quick housekeeping. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research. I'm just a guy on the internet who's a little too into tax-advantaged accounts. Cool? Cool. All right, let's start with what actually changed, because once you see how simple this is, you're going to wonder why nobody explained it to you sooner. First, let's get on the same page. A catch-up contribution is simple. Once you hit 50, the government lets you stuff extra money into your 401k on top of the normal limit. Bonus room to catch up. Now, that money can go through one of two doors. Door 1, the red vault. That's the traditional pre-tax route. Door 2, the green jar. That's Roth. And the difference between them is everything. Here's the red vault. When you put money in pre-tax, you get a tax break today. Uncle Sam basically says, go ahead, we'll skip the taxes for now. But you pay him later when you pull it out in retirement. The green jar, Roth, works backwards. You pay the tax now up front, but then it grows. And when you take it out in retirement, totally tax-free, not a penny owed. That's the trade. Okay, so here's what actually changed. For years, high earners could send their catch-up money through that red vault, pre-tax. As of this year, that door is closed. Your catch-up has to go in the green jar, Roth-only. And why'd they do this? One word, money. When you go Roth, the government collects your taxes now instead of waiting 30 years. It's a revenue grab. They needed the cash up front to help pay for the rest of the law. Now, one thing I want crystal clear. This only touches the catch-up portion. Your regular 401k contributions, those can still go pre-tax. It's just that extra over 50 money that's affected. So that's what changed. But the million-dollar question is, does it actually apply to you? Because that comes down to one very specific number. Let's go find it. Okay, the magic number, $150,000. Cross that line and the Roth rule kicks in on your catch-up. Stay under it and you still get to choose, pre-tax or Roth. So everything hinges on this one figure. But here's twist number one. It's not this year's income that matters, it's last year's. Your 2025 pay decides your 2026 rule, which means for most of you, this is already locked in. Done deal. Twist number two, and this is the big one. It's not the income on your tax return. It's your FICA wages, the pay your Social Security tax comes out of. Want to know your number? Grab last year's W-2 and look at box 3. And here's the trap people fall into. You can't shrink that number by maxing out your regular 401k. Pre-tax or not, those contributions still count as FICA wages. So no, you can't quietly duck under the line that way. Now, it gets interesting with more than one job. The 150,000 is measured per employer, not added together. So 100 grand at two different companies, that's 200 total, but neither one crosses the line. You're in the clear. A couple more folks who are off the hook. If you're self-employed with no W-2 wages, this rule doesn't touch you. And if you just started a brand new job last year, no prior year wages from them, so you're safe. For now. So, real talk. If you earned over 150 grand last year and you're 50 or older, this is your reality now. One heads up, since Roth is after tax, your take-home pay might dip a bit. Don't panic when you see it. All right, you know if it applies to you. Next question. How much money are we even talking about? Because the limits this year are bigger than you'd think, and one of them, kind of a hidden gift. Let's talk numbers because this is where it gets good. In 2026, anyone under 50 can put up to $24,500 into their 401k. That's the base. Solid. But that's just the starting line. Hit 50 and the catch-up kicks in. You get to add another $8,000 on top. That brings your total to $32,500. Already, that's a serious chunk you can shelter every single year. Here's the hidden gift I keep teasing. There's a special window where the catch-up gets supercharged, and almost nobody plans for it because they don't even know it exists. Ready? If you're between 60 and 63 years old, your catch-up jumps from 8,000 to 11,250. Stack that on the base and you can stuff $35,750 into your 401k in a single year. Now here's the catch on the catch-up. It's only 4 years, 60, 61, 62, 63. The moment you turn 64, you drop right back down to the regular 8,000. So this is a short, powerful window. So if you're staring down retirement and you feel behind, this is your shot to slam the gas. And remember, for high earners, all of this catch-up money rides through the green jar, Roth, tax-free later. Let me say those numbers one more time because they matter. 8,000 extra at 50, 11,250 in your early 60s. That is real money compounding for decades, completely tax-free. Now you're probably feeling pretty good right now, so let me ruin it for a second. Because there's a trap that could stop some of you from contributing any of this, and it's the exact thing I promised you back at the start. Okay, remember way back at the start when I said there's a version of this rule that doesn't just change your catch-up, it erases it? This is that part, and it catches people completely off guard. Here's the trap. The new rule says your catch-up has to be Roth. But what if your company's 401k plan doesn't even offer a Roth option? Then you don't just lose the tax break, you can't make the catch-up at all. Read that back. No Roth option in your plan means no catch-up, period. That extra 8,000 or 11,000 for the 60 to 63 crowd? Gone. Locked out. Not because of anything you did, but because of your plan. And who's most exposed here? Folks at smaller companies and business owners running their own plans. The big corporate 401ks mostly scrambled to add Roth before the deadline, but plenty of smaller plans, they just haven't caught up yet. Now, the good news, if your plan does offer Roth, and most do now, you're totally fine. The system just flips your catch-up to Roth automatically. You don't have to lift a finger. It just works. So here's what I need you to do. Seriously, pause this video right now. Open your phone, text or email whoever handles your benefits at work, and ask them one simple question. This takes 2 minutes and it matters. The question is just this. Does our 401k plan offer a Roth option? That's it. If they say yes, breathe easy. If they say no and you're a high earner over 50, you've got a problem to solve and today's the day. Okay, so far this probably feels like nothing but bad news. Taxes up front, smaller paychecks, traps everywhere. But here's where I flip the whole thing on you. Because this might be the best thing to happen to your retirement. So here's the reframe. Everything we just covered feels like the government taking something from you, but flip it around and they might have accidentally handed you one of the best deals in the whole tax code. Let me show you why. Benefit number one, and it's the big one, tax-free growth. With Roth, you pay the tax on the seed, not the harvest. You get tax on the small amount going in, but never on the mountain it grows into. That's huge. Think about it. That $11,000 you put in during your early 60s, give it 15, 20 years, and it could double, triple, more. And when you pull all of it out, you owe Uncle Sam nothing, zero. Benefit 2. No forced withdrawals. With a traditional 401k, the government makes you start pulling money out in your 70s, whether you need it or not. Roth, it just sits there and keeps growing. You can even pass it to your kids tax-free. Benefit 3. You're locking in today's tax rates. Here's the thing, with the national debt where it is, do you really think taxes are heading down from here? Paying now, at rates you know, could beat paying later at rates you don't. Benefit 4. Control. When you've got both a pre-tax bucket and a Roth bucket in retirement, you get to choose which one to tap each year. That means you can manage your own tax bracket. That's real power most retirees never have. So honestly, by forcing high earners into Roth, the government might have done you a backwards favor. A lot of you would have defaulted to pre-tax and missed all of this. Now you're locked into the good stuff whether you meant to or not. All right, you get the rule, you get the numbers, and you get why it's actually good. So let's land this plane. Here's your simple 3-step action plan for 2026. Okay, 3 steps. Lock these in. Step 1. Find your number. Pull your 2025 W-2, look at box 3, and see if you cleared $150,000. That number tells you if this rule even applies to you. Step 2. Confirm your escape route. Send that one text to HR. Does our plan offer a Roth option? If yes, you're golden. It happens automatically. If no, it's time to push them to add it or talk to a pro about your options. Step 3. Use it. Don't fear it. If you're between 60 and 63, throw everything you can at that supercharged catch-up while the window's open. And everyone else, stop seeing Roth as a penalty. It's tax-free money for future you. If you remember one thing from this whole video, make it this. For high earners over 50, the catch-up isn't gone. It just changed jackets. Same money, new tax treatment, and honestly, a better one. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop your state and your age in the comments, and I'll tell you what to watch out for, because some states tax retirement income very differently. Seriously, I read these. Look, this is what the American finance is all about, taking the rules that feel designed to confuse you and turning them into your shortcut to freedom. The beach house, the early exit, whatever yours looks like. If that's the goal, hit subscribe. I break down 401ks, Roth strategy, tax moves, and retirement planning every single week in plain English. And remember, this is not financial advice. Always do your own research. I'll see you in the next one.